Hey Pickles, I hope you are all well and staying safe. So today, as the title gives away, I'm going to be showing you how I do my signature sculpted brows. Now I know they're not to everybody's taste, but I get a lot of questions and comments about my brows, particularly on my live videos. So I wanted to just do an updated version of my brow routine for you guys. The first step I like to do is make sure my brows are super tidy, or what little brows I do have are super tidy. So I use these little brow razors that I buy in multi-packs off Amazon, and I go all around my brow, taking away any unwanted regrowth. This just gives everything a tidy, polished look, and also it helps with eyeshadow in the crease. I do above and below the brow just because I don't want any peach fuzz or regrowth getting in the way of my sculpted smooth shape. Now this step is completely optional, but because I don't have a lot of brow hair, I like to go in with a brow pencil first, just to sort of map out the shape that I want for my brow. Because I don't have any tails to my brow, it means I can have as much or as little of an arch as I would like, and on this particular day I wanted them quite straight, so that's what I'm doing now. The beauty of going in with a brow pencil first means you can simply rub it away if you don't like the shape and then redo it. I draw the bottom line in first, underlining the brow, and then the top line tapering down to the tail. Now you could continue with the pencil here, but I like to go in with a pomade for filling in the brow because it gives that more bold, sculpted finish. And I use a really fine angled brush, holding it at a 90-degree angle to my skin, and this just gives me the finest line possible. The thinner the brush, the finer the line, and the better finish you're going to achieve overall. And again, I do the bottom line first and then the top line, just following the shape that I created with the brow pencil. I put the majority of the pomade at the tail of the brow, and then I don't reload my brush, so I only use what's already on it as I'm working forward, so that there's less product as we get towards the front. And this is how I start working on my sort of trademark faded brow. As you get to the front of the brow, you want the majority of the weight to be on the bottom line, so you'll notice I'm adding more product along the bottom and leaving the top pretty much completely blank. To finish filling in the brow, set the pomade and make sure it's super opaque. I go in with an eyeshadow. You can of course use a brow powder if you so choose, they're exactly the same thing really. And the same as with the pomade, I am putting the majority of the product on the tail of the brow and then using what's left on the brush as I get nearer to the front. To ensure a really nice fade, you want to make sure that the brow is darker at the tail and you're putting almost next to no product on the front, and then you can go through with a spoolie and just soften and diffuse the front of the brow as far as you can, or as far as you prefer. To keep the brow hairs in place, I know I don't have many, alright, but I still need to keep them, you know, tidy. So I use the PLouise Oh So Browtiful Brow Gel in Hazelnut Latte, and I just brush that through, brushing the brow hairs up at the front of the brow and then just putting them tidy throughout the rest. To really complete the sculpted brow look, you need to carve out, and I like to use a pale or even white, as you can see here, concealer under the arch of the brow, or under the highest point of the brow really, because it's not really an arch on this brow, but you know what I mean. And this just instantly gives it a lifted, highlighted effect. I just keep this localised on the outer part of the brow and then just pat the concealer down to start setting it. And as you can see, this shaped brush really lends itself to getting a neat under arch area. If you're afraid of this being too stark, then either use a concealer that's only 1 or 2 shades lighter than your eye base, or just skip this step entirely. For the rest of the outlining and for my eye base, I always use PLouise base, and this is Rumour 4. It is my absolute favourite eye base for when I am tanned. And don't forget, you can use my code LEANNEAUDREY10 to save you 10% on your orders from PLouise.co.uk. And I use a straight definer brush for this step just because look how easy it makes it. It's such a hack. Rather than trying to do a straight line with a curved brush, I find it so much easier to do a straight line with, shock horror, a straight brush. I always meet my line in the middle for a little unibrow moment just to make sure everything is level, and then I like to outline the top of my brow as well because I feel like it really lends itself to a proper sculpted out brow and also helping that fade at the front. And then I just buff everything out with a concealer buffer brush, and look at that. You cannot tell me that those brows are not a mood. Get rid of the unibrow by buffing gently upwards and voila. I am done and my brows are snatched and I'm ready now to go on and do eyeshadow or whatever else I'm feeling for the day. Make sure to leave me a comment below and a like. Don't forget to subscribe and I'll see you in the next one.